Can a meat slicer cut bread? This is a question that has been asked for many years, and the answer isn't necessarily straightforward. While it's true that a meat slicer can be used to cut bread, there are a few caveats that should be considered. First and foremost, a meat slicer is designed to cut thin, uniform slices of meat. It has a blade that is incredibly sharp and can easily cut through a piece of meat with ease. However, bread is a much different material and can be tougher to cut through than meat. If a meat slicer is used to cut bread, it can easily become clogged or dull the blade. Additionally, the thickness of the slices may be a bit uneven. But that doesn't mean you can't use a meat slicer to cut bread, it's just that you have to be a bit more careful. Start by making sure the blade is sharp and in good condition. If it's dull or damaged, it may not be able to cut through the bread properly. Additionally, you'll want to be sure to use the slicer at a slower speed. This will help create more uniform slices and reduce the risk of clogging or dulling the blade. In addition to being careful with the speed and sharpness of the blade, you'll also want to consider the size of the bread. A meat slicer is designed to slice larger pieces of meat, so it may not be able to accommodate a smaller, thinner piece of bread. If you're slicing a large, thick loaf, you may be able to make it work. However, if you're trying to slice a thin, delicate piece of bread, you may have to opt for a different tool altogether. Ultimately, a meat slicer can be used to cut bread, but you have to be careful. Make sure the blade is sharp and in good condition, use the slicer at a slower speed, and consider the size of the bread you're cutting. With these precautions in mind, you should be able to successfully use a meat slicer to cut bread.